friends, welcome back to my channel. Life as Tiff Knows It. Tiff here, bringing you a whip and chat. This is not my traditional diamond painting whip and chat, but rather a coaster making whip and chat. I have all of the tools hopefully that I need for this project. I have already completed 2 coasters already. I think they turned out pretty cute. Here's the other one, exactly the same. Trying to make these and sell them in sets of 4. So this will be the 3rd one that I am embarking on. The yarn choice that I'm using here is, I think they're really cute, contrasting colors. They're both Red Heart yarn brand. I believe this is called Raspberry. I can't remember the blue shade, but if I do, I threw away the tag, but if somehow I come across the other skeins of yarn I have of this, I will put it in the description. So this is a Martha Stewart loom, and I don't believe you can purchase Martha Stewart looms on websites anymore besides eBay. I could be mistaken. Perhaps they release it sometimes sporadically. A couple weeks ago, I tried to do a whip and chat where I was working on the Martha Stewart loom but making a placemat, and it was a very cumbersome setup, so I'm hoping the smaller setup will be much better. I'm probably going to be moving around the project though, because having it flat makes it hard to weave in and out. And I'm kind of envisioning this as being obviously whip and chat because I have a work in progress and I'm chatting with you, but a little bit of a tutorial as well in case you're interested in how to make these. They're relatively easy to make and I find them very enjoyable. So we'll get started with it. Just realize it's facing the wrong way. So I'm going to shift my yarn over here. These tools I'm not going to need until later. So I'm going to place them kind of to the side here. And typically, like when I'm working on it, I do the part that where I'm going to be pulling the yarn. I always pull the yarn to the right of the project. So I start on the right hand side. And I'm just going to be going under with this row and over like so. Each thing should have 4 strands of yarn. So I have made some errors in the past because I think I have the 4 strands and I don't. So I'm going to probably be flipping this project over every so often to ensure I didn't be like equivalent to dropping a stitch if I were knitting this. So I hope you're doing well. I hope that everything in your world is peaceful and happy and joyous. I'm filming this on a Sunday. It is Easter Sunday. I know that that can be a really big holiday for a lot of people. For me, I mean, it's fun because we have a 5-year-old and do a bit of an Easter egg hunt, and so that was kind of fun. Might as well talk a little bit about that. So we missed our Easter egg hunt. Our neighborhood has an Easter egg hunt that they do every year, and unfortunately we missed it. That was last weekend, and my daughter and I, Denise, were out of town in the mountains, so a little bit of a bummer we missed that, but you know, there's always next year for that. So we did buy like an egg dyeing kit, and I thought it was like a really cool looking kit. Well, some of this yarn's twisted, so I'm going to untwist it here. And it's funny because I had no idea. Sometimes you just buy something, you know, because it looks cool, but I had no idea that like the process of this particular kit was way different than any other egg dyeing kit that I've done. So you don't actually like drop eggs and dye with this kit, but rather you create foam and then you put the dye on the foam and kind of like maneuver it around with toothpicks. So it was definitely a very interesting, intriguing way to do the dye. Denise does not like the color green right now, so we used 3 of the 4 colors, and it's supposed to have kind of like a tie-dye effect, which is really funny because this upcoming week we're going to be tie-dyeing shirts at my work. So I felt like I got like a little preview of dyes. We even had to put on like gloves. And all of them, even though there was like all kinds of colors with the kit, they all turned this really pretty pastel purple. And I just thought that was really funny because there are so many more colors than what would make purple. And I did it in different areas of the foam. Like there's different color schemes, all purple, which is good. So we did that. And I was planning on doing egg salad croissants, which those are so good. If you're looking for a way to do egg salad that's a little bit different, I recommend buying croissants. But one thing I learned the hard way this week is we went shopping last Monday and bought croissants, and I was thinking in my mind, man, I probably am buying these too soon and they're going to be like not very good for the weekend. And my instinct was right. That totally happened. Which is a bit of a bummer. Like they were so hard, I just ended up throwing them away. So we did not do egg salad. I figure now Denise has a healthy snack, boiled eggs. I don't know if a lot of people do that, if they eat the eggs after they dye them. I don't think there's like a safety issue with that. Like the dye doesn't get in the actual egg that I've seen. And if it had like a lot of dye on it, I would just avoid eating that egg. So here's hoping it's okay to consume. So we did that. We also had some plastic eggs, and the Easter bunny came. So we did a little Easter egg hunt in the backyard. Let's see what it looks like on the other side. Oh, good. I don't see any errors. It's looking good so far. So we did an Easter egg hunt out back. It's just really funny watching a 5-year-old do an Easter egg hunt because there's some eggs that are just like kind of obvious. Like Denise is just staring at it. But I get it. I'm the same way. I'm sure if I were the one trying to find the eggs, it would be challenging. And because we didn't dye the eggs yesterday, the Easter egg or the Easter bunny came a little late. And so we needed to make sure we weren't looking outside, because I told Denise the Easter bunny does not like to be seen. He's very sneaky. So he'll probably come when we're not looking outside. And that's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. So that was fun and cute. Inside the plastic eggs, we had M&Ms, and I am so surprised at how quickly M&Ms melt. Those eggs were out there, oh man, I'd say like less than 20 minutes. And the forecast, I mean, we're in I would say the 60s. So that sun in Colorado is very bright. And there was one egg, Denise is like, oh my gosh, there's a big piece of candy in there. And she was so excited. And they were all melted together in one lump. And the look of disappointment was on her face when she realized that. But that is okay. That is all right. So that was a bit of today with Easter. I don't think we're going to be doing too much other Easter festivities. We don't really do like an Easter dinner or anything like that. We keep it pretty low key. Yesterday we spent our day going shopping at IKEA. So I am a huge fan of IKEA, and I don't know how dispersed IKEAs are in the United States. But if you've never been to an IKEA, it can be very overwhelming. It's an experience of sorts. We were looking specifically for curtains, and the reason for that is we are still well underway with our painting project. So our goal was the rooms that we're painting we have like a main living room, a dining room, that are all kind of one room. We kind of have an open floor plan. And then we have the kitchen and what people would probably consider as a traditional dining room. We have the kitchen and then kind of just an open area for Denise to play. And that's where our TV is. And, you know, it's one of my favorite areas in our house because it's the lightest. Our house is very much in the shade. The front of our house is so shady. Like, there's still snow on the ground. Yeah. In the summer, it's nice because it keeps our house cooler, not cold, but cooler, which you can't complain, you know, when it's super hot out. But I do enjoy being in rooms that are full of beautiful light. And so I spend a lot of time in that room. So we're in the process of getting that room painted where I spend all my time, which has been a little challenging. It's just, you know, I think when you do anything with your home, like a DIY project or you hire someone to do a project, it can feel very intrusive. And I've been feeling okay about it, but there is something about like the house being constantly in disarray. Like where the kitchen's also getting painted, and I'm really excited about it. Don't get me wrong, but because our kitchen's being painted, like some of the stuff I'd used to cook, like everything's not against the kitchen wall. Everything is, some of it is in a different room. Some of it's all like consolidated together in one spot where there's brick instead of where it needs to be like a wall space. I don't know. It's been a little challenging. I just feel a little bit out of my element. And I don't know. I think someone's home is very, it's just a reflection of who they are. And I get really sensitive with feedback about it. Like, you know, I don't know. I like to have parties and I like to sometimes have people over, but for the most part, I like to just enjoy my space with just my husband and my daughter. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way. Like sometimes like you don't want people's feedback and they give it to you and it's just kind of like, great, I'm glad you have your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion, but like it's really not your place to like share it. Like I don't need your opinion. Like I like my home and yeah, I don't know. So that's been going on a little bit that I'm just like, I'm receiving a lot of feedback that I didn't ask for and that I don't want and that I'm sensitive to. And I just feel like a lot of it right now, like the chaos in my house, I can't really control. Like if it were as simple as cleaning it, I would, but I can't because it's prepping to get it painted. So to say the least, I'll be excited when this project's done. The other things that we're accomplishing this year with our house is we're gonna get new carpet in the bedroom, our like the master bedroom, our upstairs hallway, and then our living room. And so the $1 million question is, do I just embrace the chaos and get it done now while the other chaos is happening, like just chaos everywhere, and get it done in a, you know, shorter amount of time so that we can just enjoy our house for longer? Like, or do we expand the time frame of the chaos and make it less chaos? If we did the carpet after we're done painting, it would be possibly less stressful or less chaotic. So I don't know. I go back and forth. The fact that it's Easter, the fact that it's closed, you know, maybe that's just a sign to not go and start that process of getting it set up. We have so much furniture we'd have to move, which is pretty overwhelming. It would be a nice reset because our bedroom is very unkept. And I'm like, I don't know. Part of me I do want it to look nicer. I do, but it's not a priority to me. It's not. So yeah, that's kind of what's been going on. We were looking at curtains. We found some curtains for one of our windows that I think is going to work really well. We can't install it yet because of the painting. But once it's installed, I think it's going to look great. And then what we found was, I'm sure a lot of people encounter this, like our window size did not fit any of the pre-made like shades or curtains. Curtains, sure, but we're looking more for shades for our windows at IKEA. So we're gonna talk to another company and see if they have any options. One of the windows that like I said, I like light and I like brightness and I like looking outside. Like I'm looking outside right now and I see like beautiful trees and a cute little squirrel and the beautiful blue sky. But the exception to that, and I'm sure a lot of people are this way too, is in the morning when you're trying to sleep and the sun is shining in, it's kind of on the weekends when I actually have the opportunity to sleep in, it would be nice to not have the sun be so bright. But our windows in the bedroom, they're very interestingly shaped. So we have two traditional windows, and then above those windows is a window that's slanted because of the roof. So it's like two, man, I don't even know how to explain it. In fact, here, I'm just going to show you. So here's the normal windows, and then there are the windows on a slant. So we have these blinds that are very well used. Let me just place this back. That we want to replace, but it would be really nice to be able to have a shade option or curtain option for those slanted windows as well. So that is what we're going to be asking the company about. And yeah, so, oops, I did not realize this was kind of falling. My tripod situation is a little wonky. Okay, I think that's better. So all of these things, just a work in progress, just like, the projects that we do. That's how it feels. My house is a work in progress. My everything is. And I'm just trying to embrace it, go with the flow, look at the positives. There's so many things to be grateful for, and there really is. It's a beautiful day. My family is really happy. My daughter is all of a sudden, as of yesterday, into Minecraft and has been playing it with my husband. And he also, he hasn't been into Minecraft for a long time, but I think this is going to be the resurgence that he needs. And like, Bill is very much a video gamer, and I think this is a great, a way he's going to bond with our daughter. Now, I know that there's a lot of controversy about video games, especially with young kids, but I think with balance, it can be a positive thing. And that's what I'm hoping for as they embark right now playing Minecraft. And I think it's actually really cute. They sit in chairs together, they talk to each other, Bill helps her. It's wonderful. So, yeah. And then, in my work world, I don't like to really get into work stuff too much, but I do have some pretty big events I'm planning coming up. And so that has been a stressor for sure. It's a busy time of year. it's a lot to manage, and it's been a while since I have created I haven't created, I've coordinated an event like this. So I think once, not next week, but the week after, once that's done, it's gonna be smooth sailing for me, work-wise. Like there's always gonna be things in my line of work, but it's gonna feel more manageable once the events that I'm planning are done. So wish me luck with that. So every time I do the second to last row, this is the hardest part because I start over here with trying to go under the yarn, and it just like does not want to fit. So that is just a warning. If you make these types of projects or you're interested in doing that, just know that when you are finalizing the rows, the last couple of rows are the hardest to do. And you'll get through them with some practice. You'll get through them. Yes, indeed. I like to make sure that the yarn's nice and tight. And then you'll see, as you've seen the whole time, I move the yarn over just to like make sure there's enough room to feed the yarn on the last row. These projects have been going relatively quickly. I really do like making these little coasters. I am next Saturday doing a small, I don't know, it's like a sidewalk sale type thing. It's not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a craft show. It's like I set up a table outside in front of a business, and I'm trying to catch an audience who is actually going to a farmer's market. So last time I didn't have too much luck when I was there, but I watched someone buy something in the store that was mine. I talked a bit about that a couple weeks ago, and that was really exciting to me. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try it. I spent a lot of my spring break trying to make products like this that aren't really winter oriented. My passion is making hats, but hats, I mean, that's not the season we're in right now. Is people are not trying to buy hats right now. So I'm trying to be flexible and try new things, take a risk a bit. Oh no, don't fall out. That's the other thing, is these pegs, sometimes they do not want to stay where they need to stay. Just stay in your place, buddy. I talk to my loom, and I encourage it to do what I'm saying. Yeah, this is the hardest part because I'm trying really hard to get this hook above these strands of yarn, and it wants to go under. So let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Sorry if I'm a little out of frame. It's not usually this bad. Come on. Let me back up a little bit. Push this yarn down. And then there we go. Ha ha ha. This is the row that I'm most likely to mess up, where there's one strand. Oh, look, I messed up, you guys. Dang it. Look at that. Oh my gosh, and I messed up there too. You guys. How? Oh. I even checked. Can you see it? Can you see the errors? Okay, well, in that case, it's a good thing I didn't take it off the loom, because I would have been really disappointed. Oh, and now it's stuck. These projects can be so frustrating. As much as I love them and how rewarding it can be when there's no errors made, it can bug the heck out of me. And now it's stuck on a strand of yarn. Y'all, You get to see the struggle is real. The struggle is real. That's okay. Let's see. What is happening? How did I mess that up? Ugh. I think that was even before I started filming, I messed it up. Okay. So, I got that untangled. Now, where are you tangling up here? That's my question. Ah, I see that strand. Oh, the struggle. It doesn't help sometimes yarn frays a bit. Okay. I'm getting it, guys. I'm getting it. Oh, sorry if you can hear my daughter. She's very excited about Minecraft. So if you make an error, you undo it. It's pretty easy to undo. I mean, it's sad to undo it. Kind of want to play the song that I usually play when I make a mistake. I made a mistake. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So we're just going to go through and reweave these. So it's this side that I made errors on. So I need to go back to here. Goodness me. That's okay though. So let's see. What else was I going to tell you about as I'm undoing my work? Do I still need to undo it? Is this where it's at? I don't see any errors. I think I got where I needed to go. Okay. So I just need to make sure, this is a tip for you before I start talking, that this last row, you need to just make sure, like I did not, that you have all 4 strands. It's so easy, especially when you're doing strands of the same color vertically and horizontally. It's so easy to miss one of those strands and really think you have it. It's so easy. All right. And I think it normally happens when I'm going under the yarn. I think so. And then when the yarn is a darker color, I think it's harder to spot the mistake. It's harder to spot the mistake. Oh, come on. I'm having bad luck. Look, I even like lost my yarn. All right. Take 3. 3rd time's a charm, right? 3rd time's a charm. Let me just triple check. I got all the errors out. Okay. All right. Now, if this was a pot holder and that happened, see, it could always be worse. So the thing I was going to talk about, and I thought would just really take the majority of my time, was kind of this struggle that I have in life, and I think a lot of people have in navigating, and that's personal boundaries. Like, man, boundary setting is, I think, probably one of the most challenging things I have encountered. With work, I mean, I've talked so much about that, about how, you know, I was facing like a lot of burnout last year because I just struggled so much with letting go of my job when I wasn't at work, and that was more a problem, I think, with the environment that I worked in. But I have trouble with boundaries sometimes with friends. Sometimes, like, historically especially, I've really struggled with saying no when I really want to say no. And it's caused like a lot of challenges for me. And I think it's just really hard sometimes to do these WIP and chats, especially now that I'm doing it every week, because there's some stuff that's happened this weekend, but it's not my story to tell, and it wouldn't be the best for me to talk about the specifics of it. But I think too, like not talking about the concept of it and how I'm feeling about it, it wouldn't really be like, I wouldn't feel genuine if I didn't like mention it, because this is all about like a work in progress and chatting about what's going on in my life, right? So it feels very weird to me. Oh my gosh. It feels very weird to me to yeah, I'm conflicted even with like the boundary of saying what's going on. Man, I am just a walking confliction, contradiction, whatever you want to call it. But the boundary I'm really dealing with right now, currently, isn't work. It's more so like a family dynamic, and it's just, I think it's really challenging to see someone who is struggling with a problem, and when like you're trying to help them because they're asking you to help them, but they don't want to do anything to actually change the situation. And I know that change can be really scary, and sometimes it's easier said than done, and I'm trying to remember that. But I think sometimes when people choose to not do something different in the same situation and they repeat that over and over again, there needs to be like some accountability. Like it's a choice that people make. And I think like it's really hard because I want to protect my peace, and I want really badly to live a life that isn't toxic and stressful because of relationships, especially because I have such a like a strenuous job. Like I don't want that extra stress, so I'm trying to avoid that. It's hard for me to have a personal boundary and not feel guilty about it. And so, or to ask for space, or to not allow someone else's hardship impact me to the point where I can't enjoy my weekend, or I can't be the best mom I can be, or the best wife I can be, or the best me, because I'm worried about someone else who doesn't want to change. So, I don't think I'm going to say any more about the situation. I thought though, like, as I'm struggling with this, maybe you're struggling with something similar. And if you are, like, this is a reminder to you that, like, even though it's hard, you got to give yourself grace. There's a lot of benefits to having personal boundaries. And I had to, as I was like thinking about what to say in this WIP and chat, I was just looking those up because like I just Googled it, like not a strenuous search by any means, but I needed a reminder as to why it's important and the benefits of it, because it's hard to do. It's hard. So some of the benefits of establishing healthy boundaries is you have more compassion. You grow in your assertiveness, which is not being aggressive to be assertive. I think sometimes it's really easy to get those two things confused. Like standing up for yourself is being like bitchy or aggressive, and it's not. Your needs are met when you like expect a standard from people and you are clear about what it is that you need, whether it's like I need to not talk to you right now, or I need some space, I need to just like have time to think about things, whatever that looks like, or I need time alone, or I'm not going to go, to that certain place, your needs are met, because maybe you could fill it up with things that you need to heal, or that would be better for you. You feel peace and safety. You're feeling respected, like by yourself, like you've done something good for yourself. Hopefully in the long run it ends to less conflict, or it results in less conflict, because you're kind of training other people and yourself to know like what's your limit, so it's super clear, and it you prevent misunderstandings in the future. You have improved communication, your self-esteem goes up, and you have less anxiety, and your confidence increases. So like those are all things, man, those are things I'm striving for in my life. And that's just a reminder to me, and hopefully to you too. It's okay to have a boundary with a person. It's healthy. And then I think the hardest part anyway for me is like, how do you do that? How do you do that consistently? Because I don't know. We're creatures of habit, and it's really easy to kind of fall back in to what you know, and what's easy, and what's comfortable, and what's familiar. And so I found these 5 tips. The first is to be clear about what you want. And that can be the hardest thing, because maybe for you, I know it's this way for me, it's not clear because I have a hard time putting it into words. Like, it's more easy for me to define what I don't want. And I think that's a really good start, is just like stating, maybe with like an I feel statement, I feel this, like what you don't want, or the negative things happening that you want to avoid. And that might be a direction that leads you to what you truly want. And I think it's okay too, if that want, you have to maybe redefine, or it might change with time. Unfortunately, I wish life was just like easier, like it was just clear cut, but it's not. So I think it's okay too to like change your mind, or to try something and reflect on, that's what I thought I wanted and it's not, but that gets me closer to figuring it out, right? So that's number 1. And then number 2 is being direct with someone, because it's very easy to soften things. And being direct, I think being clear is kind, as Brene Brown would say. And don't apologize for what you want or what you need. Like, I think that's really important, because when I am a person that over apologizes, like I say sorry for saying sorry. But when you do that, it kind of, I think, takes the emphasis away from what you're actually trying to communicate, and it makes the person feel like you're not sure. And maybe you are sure, and then that's why you're apologizing, because you know that that's your truth, and you don't want to hurt anyone by your truth, but it can lead to confusion. And then number 3 is expect resistance and don't let it deter you. Yeah, I think, man, that's the hardest part, is knowing that likely there is going to be some type of, I don't know if I'd say conflict, but some type of uncomfortableness to that. Maybe some guilt tripping, maybe not even intentional, but when you choose to respond differently to someone, likely that person is going to give you some type of feedback, or there's going to be some type of dialogue that's hard to cope with or understand, or is just uncomfortable or awkward. And I guess it's okay to live in that awkwardness. I live in awkwardness. This This last part is awkward here. I cannot get, I need this needle to go up and the yarn to go down. Go up and down. But not like that. Not like that. No, no, no. I think, excuse me, number 4 is true too, is it's a process. It's not just a one and done thing. It might be having to have multiple conversations or having to refine that conversation or revisiting that conversation and really checking in with yourself too. Like that's the hard part as well. Okay, thank God I don't see any errors this time. That was so sad. So yeah. And then number 5 is the last one. Oh yeah, sorry. I can't read my handwriting. I was trying to summarize what it was saying, but the reason that you'd want to have a type of conversation with someone about, stay in your place, boundaries is it should come from a place of doing what's best for you and not trying to control someone else. And the more time I spend on this earth, the more I understand that even in a helping profession, my job's not to try to change someone. My job is to help support them in their own journey of changing. And no, look, there's an error here. And I don't want to read. I'm going to have to redo it. Just this row, though. What was I saying? I think the hard intersection in all of this is when their inability to change impacts your life negatively. That's what makes it really hard. And that I don't necessarily, I think it's such a case-by-case basis, but that's typically when these types of conversations have to be had, is when their lack of change impacts you, not that you're trying to change them. And that's kind of like in my journey where I'm stuck. Where I'm stuck is like a long-term solution for a situation like that. And also caring and wanting change to happen for them. And wanting, really, it's not even wanting change, I'd say. It's wanting happiness for them. And yeah, I can't really control how other people achieve that. I don't know. It's a very philosophical whip and chat today, as I'm trying so hard to just finish this row. The yarn is getting stuck. Come on, you. Just don't fray and just go through. And if this peg would just stay in its place, that would be great. That would be fabulous. It's stuck on something. Isn't that how life is? Getting stuck on things? Getting stuck on things. Is it where it needs to be? It is, at least. I think I have it set up correctly. So that's great. That's great. Sorry if it's not in frame. So what sometimes I do, and I should have done, is just lift that yarn up. It's still freaking stuck. What the frick is it stuck on? I'm gonna still try. Ah, I see it. I see it. It's that little piece. Okay, maybe if I undo it. It's fraying right in the wrong spot. Right where I don't want it to. I'm determined to get this row done before this whip and chat's over, my friends. You're going to watch me struggle through it. But it's so, this is, I must say, so much better than trying to film a whip and chat with a placemat. That was really challenging. Here, look at this. Creative problem solving. I'm just twisting the hook the other way, which is a great tip if you're really struggling with what I was struggling with. I forget to do that sometimes. So close, so close. I don't want it twisted. Okay. Hey, we did it, friends. We did it. We got every row on here. I do not believe there is an error. If there's twisted yarn within one little spot of this, that is a-okay with me. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So I'm sure in a whip and chat in the future, you'll see me taking it off the loom. Essentially, if you're curious, I use a loom knitting hook and a crochet hook. So what I will do is I will trim this part and then I'll start along here and I'll use the hook to get each loop onto the crochet hook, and then I'm going to crochet around all of it, including where my tails are, except for this gray one, because this gray one is an extra peg. You'll see in all these other corners I don't have a peg. This is my anchor peg. So I just take, in fact right now I could just take it off of there and not just ignore it, just not even pretend it's not there. And then I weave in the ends with a needle. So I'm sure I'll be showing you that in another whip and chat. Thanks so much for hearing what I had to say. I appreciate it. I think I am a verbal processor as well, and so this is very helpful for me to kind of reflect on challenges that I've been having, and I hope that it was helpful for you as well. I hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and I'll see you in next week's whip and chat.